Welcome to the Unfuck Your Fitness podcast. I am your host, Christy Castillo, and I'm here to give you real talk and cut the BS so you can actually enjoy building a body you love. I'm a personal trainer obsessed with giving you simple action steps to take you from feeling stuck to feeling sexy. Let's go.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to today's episode. I'm really excited about today's episode because it's somewhat of a special episode. I shouldn't even say somewhat. It's a very special episode. Today is, well, if you're listening to this in real time, the day that this episode was launched, it is April 4th, and April 5th, 3 years ago, is the exact date of when we sent out the very first 2 episodes of the Unfuck Your Fitness podcast. So first of all, thank you for listening. Thank you so much for being here. And if you've listened to every single episode, thank you so much. I have not listened to the beginning episodes, and yeah, maybe I'll go back and listen just to kind of see what that was like. But no, I truly do appreciate you being here. And I want to just talk, I guess, on this episode about a little bit about my hesitations, and then also give you some words of wisdom, of course, to empower you, as I like to take every situation and kind of turn it into fitness, because everything kind of relates to that journey, because it's all such a good mindset. But I was terrified to start a podcast. And if I wasn't terrified to start a podcast, I would have done it sooner. That's the one thing that if anybody asks me, what have you learned? Anything like that. What was not your hesitations, but, something that held you back and something you would have done differently. It's just starting it in general, the imposter syndrome, the what am I going to talk about for, 170 episodes, which we're close. But yeah, it's just a lot of, what ifs and what am I going to talk about? What are people going to say? There's going to be mean comments. There's going to be mean reviews. Imposter syndrome, just all of the things. How do I start a podcast? What does that look like? How is that going to change my routine? How is that going to change my work? Just like all of the things that go into it. And without Emily, my amazing podcast manager, I honestly don't think I would be able to do it. I did run the show myself for, I don't know, maybe a year. I'm not really sure. And it's just very, very time consuming on top of everything else. So yeah, my hesitations were real in that department, but I'm so glad that I had Emily and that she walked me through it, and that she actually launched the show and really was like, you're going to be great. Just honestly talked me through it in more ways than one. But I honestly I really, really don't know if I would have done it without her. And so I'm forever grateful for her and for her help. But truly, it has taught me so much. And if I could go back, I would have started sooner, because I often underestimate myself. And that's kind of the message I want to talk about in this episode is you probably, you do. I know you do often underestimate yourself as well. And what I have learned by doing anything hard, and the podcast is just one of those things, what I have learned is that I can do this. I can figure it out. I can set aside the time. I can find enough things to talk about. I can share my journey openly and honestly and authentically. And I can find friends that relate, and I can find people that benefit from the information. I can do all of the things that I was terrified to do. And it can go really well. And I can do this. And yeah, I think the most important thing is being that authentic part. Is a lot of things, that I've learned from this podcast, and as well as my fitness journey, is that it's okay to be myself. And that, I get a lot of messages saying, thank you for saying things the way that you do. And just the fact that I don't get on here and just give tips and tell nothing about myself, or I do sugarcoat some things. You may or may not be surprised to hear that, but I don't just say it exactly how I want to say it, or exactly how I'm thinking it, or maybe exactly how I've learned. But I do get that point across so that you feel like you can do it too. But I have learned that I can be so authentic and I can share weird parts of my journey, weird parts of my life, weird thoughts and sayings that I have, right? And people are like, oh my gosh, I feel the exact same way. I cannot remember your name and I'm so sorry, but I got a message last night from a lady in my DMs. She actually messaged me a couple days ago and I just read it last night, but she was talking about her obsession with mini Cadbury eggs. And I love that because I mean, if that's a minor detail of my life, well, it's actually kind of major, but it's minor as well. But if I wouldn't have shared that quirky little thing, right, I wouldn't have made all these friends now that are also obsessed with Cadbury eggs and now think of me every time they see a little Cadbury egg. And it's so great and so freeing to be able to share that. And also, share little things like sneaking my son's pizza crust out of the trash can, which is crazy. But so many of you could relate to throwing away food and then being like, oh, I really want that. And I have no self-control and kind of digging things out, which is again, crazy. And maybe you think that's actually crazy and you would never do that. And that's fine, but that's a part of my journey. That was part of my eating struggles. And yeah, just all of these types of things. And I'm really just so glad that it's helped. And then on top of that, to your fitness journey, kind of rolling this over because I really want to talk about this as a topic that I have been talking about a lot as far as body recomp here on the podcast a little bit, but also just with clients. You can change your body and you can change it in any way that you want to. And so, kind of relating it back for a second to the podcast, I can start a podcast and you can do whatever other hard thing that's not fitness related as well. I can start a podcast. I can talk about whatever I want on this podcast. I can say it in different ways. In earlier episodes earlier on in my podcasting journey, I guess, I would listen to other episodes and kind of get a feel for how they start, what they do in the middle of the podcast, what they talk about, how they give tips, how they speak, what they're saying, what their cover art looks like, what the show notes look like, what the titles look like. And that's great because in the beginning, it's okay. Obviously, it's okay even now for me to kind of mimic someone else or be like, oh, what they're doing is really successful. And I actually really, really like that. It seems like a good way to do that. It seems like authentic to me. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it. Nothing wrong with that. But I looked a lot for outside inspiration. And that's because I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't know what flavor, I wanted this podcast to really have and what I wanted it to take on, what I wanted this entity to kind of be like. Now I do. And part of that is because I've grown as a podcast host and I've grown as a person and I've grown into, okay, this is my show. I can do this. I have seen success. People don't totally hate me. Like, let's go then. Let's really take ownership of this and let's do the damn thing. Same thing with my body. Once I stopped doing cardio, once I stopped eating from containers, once I stopped trying to be small, once I stopped shrinking myself, all the things, once I thought, I think I can change my body into anything I want it to be. I think I can have control. I think I can do this. Once I started to take action on those little things and trust the people that I was reaching out to or following, mimicking, right? Their behaviors, their life, their foods, their workouts. Once I started doing that, I realized, oh, this does work. My body is changing for the better. I can eat more and not gain fat. I can gain muscle and not look manly. All those things that I told myself I couldn't do and gave myself not even valid reasons to not do those things, I was realizing I can do these things. And once I started to do them and they worked, I became more confident in, yes, this is what works. And I don't care who tells me otherwise. And now I know that same thing for podcasting. I know what works and I know what I want to do and what I want to say. And I feel good about that. And I'm so glad you guys resonate. And I love that part of it now in my fitness journey, as well as workouts, giving you guys that information and feeling really confident about that because I now feel confident in myself, my words, my fitness, my body. I feel confident, more, not perfect, more confident than I used to, right? Never perfect. But it's the same thing with your fitness journey. And I want to really just empower you in this episode. First of all, yes, do whatever you want in life. You've got this. Find someone to help you. Find yourself an Emily to help you, encourage you, walk along with you, all of those types of things. And then also in your fitness journey, you can have the body that you want. You can eat more. You can have a good relationship with food. You can build muscle. You can build muscle and learn fat. You can find someone, maybe even me, to help you along your journey, to explain to you the how, the why, the what's going to help you get there. And then you can, if you want to grow a certain part of your body, if you want to have bigger glutes, if you want to have strong shoulders, if you want to have strong biceps, you are in control of that. If you want to lose fat, you are in control of that. If you want to look like you have abs, and yeah, you want to look like you have abs, meaning you want to have abs. You want to see them. You want to have a strong core. You want to have really big quads. You want to have muscular calves. Like whatever you want your body to look like, it is possible for you. And the reason that you don't think so is because you either haven't had someone that had a good plan for you, or you haven't had a good plan for yourself, or you haven't had someone that had your best interest in mind, or you haven't had someone to teach you. A lot of coaches, a lot of trainers, a lot of things online that you can purchase will just give you a plan, but not help you understand why this is working and what exactly you're doing, not just eating more, eating less, calorie deficit, calorie surplus. What does that mean for you? And is this a good time in your life to do that? Does this make sense for you? Do you understand it? I really want my clients to understand why they're eating more. And if they come to me and want to eat more and I'm like, you're not ready yet, I want them to understand why. So having that knowledge is really, really important, but you can. And it's about time that you start realizing that. And I would love to be the person to kind of put that little bug in your ear. I know the episode that I had with Vince, he talked about building muscle and ladies in particularly lifting heavier. And I've gotten a lot of messages saying I lifted heavier today than I ever had in my life. And I love that. I had an episode a little while before that talking about how you deserve it. You deserve to know the baddest version of yourself, and you do. And you deserve to look good and feel good, to feel hot, to feel sexy, to feel like a badass, whatever the word is that you want to feel. You deserve that. And you are in control of that. And you can. And I want you to know that. And I also, after you feel that emotion and you're like, yes, I can, whether you're driving, whether you're picking up your house right now, whatever you're doing right now, I want you to feel that and really think that to yourself. Like, I can. That body that I want for myself, that food freedom I want for myself, it is possible. Just because I was told my whole life that I couldn't have it, or just because I told myself my whole life I couldn't have it, I can. I can have it. Christy's telling me, she's living proof. She's walked herself through things. She's got this, and she's telling me that I can. And I know, like, and trust her. And I got this, right? I want you to feel that. But then next is the how, right? And it takes a little time to find someone to really talk yourself into it, to kind of feel that. So every single day, every single time you have a doubt of, I can't, I don't understand. If you come across an account online that's telling you something that makes you think, I can't do that, unfollow them. Get rid of the things that make you feel like you can't, and realize that you can. And then the next step, starting today, you can do this, is to show up like you are that person, like you have that body, like you are the host of that podcast that you want to be. So once I decided, okay, I have a podcast, I recorded 2 episodes, we put them out into the world, we have the name, we have the photo, right? I am now a podcast host. I have to think every week about an episode. I have to think about my clients. What are they struggling with? Think about my life. What was I struggling with? What can I talk about? I have to be a podcast host. I have to show up. I have to get a new microphone. I have to get a new computer. I have to get the things that I need to be a podcast host. If I want a certain type of body, I have to have some equipment. I have to have some foods in the house that will get me that body, right? I have to go for a walk. I have to do certain things. I have to have certain things. I have to show up for myself. I have to record these podcast episodes. Nobody else can. It's my show. I have to do it. I have to set aside the time, even if my equipment isn't working properly, like last week when I was recording, even if it's not top-notch quality every single time, I have to show up and do it, because that's what I do now. I am a podcast host, right? If I have this certain body in mind and I'm like, okay, that's me. That's my end goal. I want that body. I have to show up and lift. I have to get my steps in. I have to track my food to know that I'm properly fueling myself. I have to eat certain kinds of foods to fit in those macros. Like, I now have to do those things. And it's not like I want to take it back to a couple episodes ago when I was talking about thinking about the good things instead of the bad things on your fitness journey. Think about what you gain rather than what you lose. You don't have to make time. You get to make time for your new body. You don't yes, I do have to honestly show up and record two of these now weekly, which is crazy. I do have to, but I also get to. So very quickly caught myself there, right? I get to show up here. I get to track my macros. I get to show up for a workout. I get to get my workout in. I get to get bundled up and go for a walk today. It's actually freezing outside. I'm going to promise myself this morning when I woke up, you're getting your steps in today. God damn it, you're getting your steps in today. Because I don't think I hit them yesterday. So I have some extra to make up for to hit my average for the week. But anyways, you do have to do it, honestly. If you want the thing, you have to do the work to get there. You also get to, and I want you to think about those good things. Think about what you're gaining. Think about the good things rather than the bad things, right? But you can start today to show up for yourself. When you're at the gas station, you're like, oh my God, there's my favorite candy bar. I really want that. Don't do it. Grab a protein shake instead. Grab a beef stick. When someone invites you out tonight, like, hey, do you want to go for a walk for an hour? Maybe a friend calls you up and she's like, hey, you want to go for a walk? Want to go for an hour walk with me? Actually, I have to lift for 30 minutes and then I can walk with you for 30 minutes if that's okay. You can start without me, come back and get me, whatever, but I have to get my lift in and some steps. So I'll do half and half, right? If you're getting invited out for dinner and drinks, maybe it's I'll meet you there a little bit late, probably. I'll meet you all there, but I have a couple things to do first and I'm not really drinking right now and not going to eat a whole lot. So I'll meet you there, right? You do have to make adjustments. You do have to make sacrifices. I'll never beat around the bush about that. You know that. And you do have to show up as that person and you can really start embodying that today, whether you believe in it or not, whether you really, really believe you can have that body, whether you really, really believe anyone will listen to your podcast. I got to show up anyways, right? That's exactly what I do. That's exactly what I did. That's what I will always continue to do is show up and put that work in, whether I believe I want to, whether I believe I have time, whether I believe that's for me, it doesn't matter because I said I was going to do it. That's what I want. And that's what I'm going to do. So I hope you enjoy this episode. I really, really appreciate you being here and listening to me and for loving my podcast. And I cannot believe that it's been 3 years, but it has. And I thank each and every single one of you for being along for the ride. And I will talk to you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening to today's show. Go ahead and leave a rating and a review. And of course, follow the podcast so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And I would love it so much if you came to connect with me over on Instagram at Christy Castillo Fit. I will see you next time.